What's up y'all, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be playing with the newest launch from Jolie Beauty, and that is the Till Death eyeshadow palette. I am excited about this. This is a more neutral eyeshadow palette from the brand. It does have some color in it, so it's definitely more of like a neutral eyeshadow palette for a colorful lover, or a colorful eyeshadow palette for the neutral lover. But I love the Jolie Beauty eyeshadow formula. I think it's such a beautiful formula. It's pigmented, it's blendable. I don't have any issues with it. Jolie Beauty is a UK based indie brand, and we're gonna play with this today. So I'm gonna give you the lowdown on the eyeshadow palette, show you some swatches. We're gonna create two different looks, and then we will come together at the end of the video and I'll give you my collective thoughts so far on the palette. And then later on down the road, I will give you my full thoughts in an eyeshadow palette ranking video. But let's go ahead and chat about this palette real quick so we can jump into the looks. But this is what the eyeshadow palette itself looks like. This is very sturdy packaging. It's not very heavy, it's not very cumbersome, but it is definitely sturdy and not very cheap feeling at all. I love the packaging on here, the matte background with like the shiny leaves and everything on it. And then of course we have the two lovers in the middle of the heart with the purple flowers, the skulls, all of that featuring love and death. And then when you open up this eyeshadow palette, this is our 28 pan color story, and it is so pretty. Like I said, it's definitely a neutral eyeshadow palette for the colorful lover, and I love the tones in here. I love that we have like these olive greens over here. We've got some purple and mauvey tones, our browns, our cool tone black and grays, and then we have some shimmers in here. And the best part is there's no pressed shimmer, no pressed glitters in this palette anywhere. Now, my palette did come with one broken shade over here, but I was able to press it back in. So if you see it looking a little messy right there, that is what that is from. But this palette does retail for $45, and it is currently available on the Jolie Beauty website. It will be linked down below in the description box, as well as everything else on my face and everything else that we use in this video today per usual. So if you're curious about anything, always check that description box, and please keep in mind some of those links may be affiliated links, and if you choose to shop them, I do thank you so much for helping to support me and my channel. But without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and zoom y'all in, get my hair out of my face, prime my eyes, and we're gonna jump into the first look with this palette. All right, we are zoomed in, my eyes are primed and ready to go. I did prime my eyes with my MAC paint pot in the shade Painterly. You already know it, it's my absolute favorite. It holds up to every eyeshadow palette across the board. I have yet to find an eyeshadow that will crease when I have this on, but let's jump into this first look. So I really want to play with the mauve shades in here. You already know it. I'm sure you knew it when you saw the palette. So I think we're gonna play with some of these, maybe a couple of these neutral shades, and then for the second look, I really want to play with the greens in here. I will do more looks in like future videos, shorts, and reels, things like that. So I will get good use out of this. I will have several different looks coming, but we're gonna go ahead and start with this shade right here, this really light brown shade. It is called Veil, and I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up with one of these brushes that I got in my Ipsy icon box. I can't remember. I think it's called Miss Glam is the brand, but I haven't used the eyeshadow brushes yet, so we're gonna test these out today since I already know this formula. So I'm gonna pick up that shade Veil with this brush, and we're gonna put this into my crease, just building up a little bit of depth and definition before we jump into our next shade. All right, so there's the first shade, Veil down, and this is like the perfect shade that you could throw in the crease, throw one of the shimmers all over your lid and call it a day. And honestly, this brush isn't too bad actually. It's not like as soft and fluffy as I would prefer, but it did get the job done. I've used worse brushes before, but we're gonna go ahead and jump into our next shade. So next I wanna go in with this shade right here called Romance, and I wanna keep that on like the outer half of my lid. So for that, I'm gonna go in with another one of these newer brushes, and we're gonna go in with the Fluffy Blender brush and pick up that shade Romance. And I'm gonna keep this out on the outer half of my lid, up in my crease, bringing it up a little bit and kind of blending everything together. Okay, so next I want to go ahead and deepen up my outer corner, and for that I want to pick up this shade down here. This one is called In Health. It's like a really deep cool tone brown. It looks like it's got just a little bit of like a reddish undertone to it. So I'm going to pick up the last brush from that new eyeshadow brush set that I got in my icon box. This is the eyeshadow brush, simple enough. So I'm going to pick up the shade In Health, and I'm just going to pat this into my outer corner. I am not having any patching with these shades. I'm not having any fallout. There's not a whole lot of kick up in this palette either. It's performing exactly how I expect it to perform based off of the other palette that I have from the brand. So I'm just going back in with that shade Romance and just kind of going along the edges of that deep brown that I just used, just to make sure that everything is diffused and blended and we don't have any harsh lines. All right, let's do this lower lash line. So I want to pick up this shade right here. This looks like it's a satin color. I have not swatched this eyeshadow palette yet, so you've already seen the swatches. I have not, but I want to pick up this shade right here called Petals, and I want to put that along my lower lash line. So I'm going to pick it up with a Sigma E57 brush and just kind of fluff this along my lower lash line. I'm not going to kind of go in like super precise, but I'm also not going to go in real whimsical either. I just want to bring some of that definition to my lower lash line. Okay, let's play with some shimmer. I'm having a really hard time deciding what I want to play with because I want to play with this shade right here that looks like a duochrome. It looks like it shifts from like a mauve to like a green black. You can kind of see it a little bit when I tilt the palette, but I think I want to put that one all over my lid. Of course, there's all these beautiful sparkly shades as well. But yeah, we're gonna do this all over the lid, and then I'm kind of thinking this one up here for my inner corner. So that first shade is called Soulmate, and then the second shade is called Bouquet. I'm gonna go ahead and put some NYX glitter primer on my lid, per usual, you already know, and then we're gonna pop that shade Soulmate all over the lid. All right, so this is the shade Soulmate on my finger. I can definitely see that duochrome flip. We're just gonna tap this all over my lid, and I'm gonna bring this all the way over to my inner corner, leaving just the tiniest little gap. But I like that. It is not super opaque, but it definitely has just this really pretty shift to it when the light hits it. Okay, so for my inner corner, I went ahead and picked up the shade Bouquet on a Game Beauty E04. I'm going to spray it with my MAC Fix Plus, and we're going to pop this into my inner corner. Now this is definitely a little bit more of a textured shade. It has a little bit more flake to it, but it's not a pressed glitter by any means, and that is absolutely stunning. It definitely has more of like a pinky purple base to it than I thought it was going to have. I love that so much. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in some liner and mascara, and we'll come back and show you the first completed look with this palette. All right, y'all, so there you have it, the first completed look with the Till Death palette, and I really like the way this turned out. The formula is exactly what I know from the other eyeshadow palette that I have from Jolie Beauty. It's just so user-friendly. It's easy to manipulate, to blend. It doesn't, you know, it's not overly pigmented to where you have to be really careful. It's very user-friendly, but I love the way that this turned out. That shade Bouquet that I used in my inner corner, I cannot wait to use that all over my lid. It is so sparkly and beautiful, but I also love the shade that I put all over my lid as well. What was that called? Soulmate. It's just that beautiful, typical multi-chrome that you think of when you think of one, and it's gorgeous. But to finish off this look, I went ahead and threw my Charlotte Tilbury Walk of No Shame eyeliner into my waterline. I lined my lid with my Half Magic Flick liquid eyeliner, and then for my mascara, I am still testing out the NARS Climax mascara, and that completes this first look. But let's go ahead and jump into the second look with this palette. I want to play with these murky greens over here. I'm really excited about it. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go ahead and start with this shade up here, this really pretty gray shade. It is called Unity, and for that one I'm gonna pick it up with a Game Beauty EO6 brush, and per usual I'm just gonna fluff this into my lid, giving me a little bit of a transition shade. That is a really pretty gray eyeshadow. Most grays I feel like pull really cool on me and more towards like that purple side, but that one is actually like a true cool tone gray eyeshadow. But let's build up some more depth in this eye. So next I want to go ahead and go in with this shade right here, and I think I'm going to do kind of the same thing I did over here, just keep that on like the outer half of my lid, and then we'll build up more depth as we go, probably with this black shade right here. But we're going to pick up this shade right here, which is called Cremation, and I'm going to pick that up with, woohoo, I dropped it, with my Sigma Beauty Kristen Dominique eye and nose contour brush that I really, really love for this kind of work. So I'm going to pick that up and put this on the outer half of my lid, blending it up. Same technique that I did on the other eye. I'm just kind of mimicking it with different colors over here. Okay, let's do the lower lash line really quick. So I'm going to pick up this shade right here. This is a satin green shade. It is called Till Death. I'm going to use that same brush that I just used for our lash shade. I'm just going to use the tip of it. I wiped it off a little bit, and we're going to fluff this onto my lower lash line, bringing it all the way over. All right, let's add some depth and drama to the outer corner. So I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. This one is called Deceased. This definitely looks like it's probably a matte black with some sparkle in it, maybe even a satin. I don't know, we'll see it whenever I actually swatch it out, which you've already seen, but I'm gonna pick that up with a Unearthly, what is this, a UC8-7 brush, and I just want to very lightly put this in my outer corner. I don't want it to take over. I don't want it to get crazy. I just want a little bit of depth and definition. And actually, this may not be the right brush for this now that I'm digging into it. Oh, I think it'll be okay. Okay, so I'm loving the gradient I have going on my eye over here, but let's throw some shimmer on this lid. So I think what I want to do is I really want to play with this one right here. It looks so sparkly and reflective, and I'm excited about it. So we're going to play with the shade called Buried, and I'm going to put that all over my lid. So I'm going to go ahead and prime it with my NYX glitter primer, and then we're going to put that all over the lid. All right, so let's throw the shade Buried all over the lid. Ooh, wow. That is so, so pretty. Oh, I love that. It looks so foiled, so wet, and just sparkly all over the lid, but it's very smooth. It doesn't feel like it's got a lot of texture to it. It's not emphasizing any texture on my lid. It's not grabbing funny, and I'm not getting any fallout, but of course I do already have a glitter primer on my lid. I always suggest that you use a glitter primer or spray your brush with some sort of setting spray. I prefer MAC Fix Plus before putting any shimmer on your lid. All right, so I want to blend this just a little bit more. So for that, I'm going to go in with this shade right here. It is called Undying, and this is like a satin metallic shade. It's not quite a satin, but it's not quite a metallic. So it's kind of in between. And I'm just going to put that right where that matte and that shimmer meet. So I have a nice blend and it's seamless and we don't have a harsh line. See the difference that makes? I love doing that. That's such a great technique if you've got like a stark difference between your outer corner and your lid shade. Just find some sort of either a shimmer or a satin that's very like in between of the two shades that you can throw on there, and it just kind of blends everything together and just kind of yeah, blends everything together, you know. Okay, all we have left is the inner corner. So I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. This one is called Infinity, and it's just a really pretty like cream satin shade. So for that, oh, I gotta find a brush for it because, you know, no clean brushes per usual. How do they get dirty so fast? I will never understand that, but you know what, it is what it is. We're just gonna wipe off this Game Beauty EO4 that I used in the last look. Pick it up with that, spray it with some MAC Fix Plus, and I'm gonna pop it into my inner corner and see if this gives me just enough of a shimmer for that. Okay, that's really pretty. It's subtle, but it adds just enough brightness to that inner corner and just enough pop. That would be a really pretty highlighter as well. Too bad I already have a highlighter on my cheeks, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw on my liner and mascara, and then I will come back and show you the second completed look with this palette. Alright y'all, so this is going to complete the second look with this palette, and I really like the way this turned out. The greens in here are so murky and deep and just beautiful. I love it. I'm here for it. But to finish off this look, I did go in with the same liquid liner and mascara that I used on this look over here. And then for my waterline, I went in with my Give eyeliner in the shade Greener Pastures just to kind of tie everything together. But let's go ahead and zoom you out a little bit, and we're going to chat about this palette. Alright y'all, so I am feeling both of these looks. I'm loving like the gothic wedding vibes that this palette is giving off, which is exactly what it's supposed to be giving off. But let's chat about this palette really quick. So first of all, packaging is gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning. I love it. I think it's beautiful. I like that it's a big color story, but it's so lightweight and compact. It just doesn't feel like a huge eyeshadow palette. But opening her up, the mirror in here is absolutely gorgeous, and it does say "Till Death Do Us Part" on the top with the flowers around it. I love that little detail. But let's talk about the formula and the color story. First of all, I love the color story. It caught my eye when it was unveiled. I didn't really know what to expect based off of the theme. I knew it was going to have some mauves in it, but I love the touch of the greens, the neutrals, the grays. I think it's absolutely stunning. The formula in here from what I have used is beautiful. Like I said, this is a very user-friendly formula. It doesn't have any fallout. It doesn't have a lot of kick up in the pan. It doesn't take a lot to like blend it out. It pretty much does it itself, and it's not overly pigmented. You can really kind of go in hard if you want and build up that pigmentation, or you can definitely go in lighter. So like I said, I really enjoy the Jolie Beauty formula. And as far as the shimmers in here go, one, I love that there's no pressed glitters in here, but I like that we have different textures in here. We have some that are a little bit more on like the chunky side, like this one up here. We've got some smoother ones that are a little bit more on the subdued side, but still have like a flip to them. We've got some that are just satins. We've got mattes. We've got a little bit of everything in here, and I just think it's very beautifully done. Is it a unique color story? No, it's not. I mean, this color story has been done time and time again, but if you are into these kind of tones, if you are a very neutral person and you really gravitate towards like mauves and purples with your cool tone neutrals and your warm tone neutrals, this is going to be the eyeshadow palette for you. As far as the formula goes, I love it. I don't think you can go wrong with it. I don't think you'd be disappointed in it. And to get 28 shades with this many formulas in it for $45, I think is definitely a steal. I love it. I highly recommend it. If you're eyeing it, if you're into it, I recommend it. I don't think you would be disappointed. But that is going to complete today's video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I want to hear all of your thoughts down below. Have you ever tried Jolie Beauty before? Do you have any other palettes? Did you pick this one up? Are you interested in it? Which look was your favorite? Per usual, I always want to know. Let's have that conversation down below. Light up that comment section. And as usual, I want to thank you all so much for watching my video and spending your time with me. It truly does mean so much to me. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos and I wouldn't want you to miss one. But until my next video, have a good one. Bye.